How was he able to be successful in office and consolidate his power?
1997 Constitution. It was basically based on three main pillars. The first of which was actually, it was one that was most progressive in terms of granting people's rights and participation in politics. The second pillar was that it designed an electoral system and a parliamentary system that wanted to move Thailand away from coalition politics, so that the party list system was introduced. Once a government is formed in parliament, it was very difficult to remove it through parliamentary means. And the third pillar was that it would introduce a new set of checks and balance, what we call a network of independent organizations, so the Counter-Corruption Commission, Electoral Commission, the Admin Court, the Constitutional Court, whatever you have anywhere else in the world, we had to try to do this. What Thaksin cleverly did, of course, was take full advantage of the second pillar, which was the strong executive design, and was therefore able to fulfill some of his campaign pledges and impress people that there was an effective management style of government. But at the same time, he used his popularity to dismantle. He used his money to bribe. He used his business influence to basically destroy all the checks and balance in the system. But as long as people were satisfied or impressed with what the government was doing, they didn't mind. So they didn't mind or notice that within a few years, the media had become far less independent than they were before his arrival. And Thailand actually at one stage was considered to have the freest press or media in the region. But 3 or 4 years into Thaksin's government, we in the opposition almost had no airtime on all television stations. So basically, he was driving his message through a controlled media very effectively. And as I said, when people were satisfied with the results, they didn't mind. And of course, that included some of the worst things that he did. So many people are familiar that he was very much involved with the probably one of the biggest abuses of human rights through the war on drugs, and also his iron fist policy towards the Deep South, where there was and continues to be a separatist movement. That's the right word for it. And, you know, over 1,000 lives were lost in the war on drugs, more than 2,000, I guess, in the South during his time. But the policies were very popular, and in the Philippines now, President Duterte is actually doing much more than Thaksin, and is extremely popular because people felt this was a no-nonsense style of government getting things done. You know, drugs was a problem. What you have to do is to kill all the drug dealers. It didn't matter that there was no due process. It didn't matter that these people were not even had not been proved to be involved even in a drugs trade. So with that style of government, delivering on the policies, enjoying that popularity, he also engaged in the abuses. And of course, with his business interests and conflict of interest, very much like in Italy, he was also able to enrich himself through these sets of policies. But people felt that, okay, he's corrupt, but they also have this impression that all politicians are corrupt anyway. So it was better to have somebody who was corrupt, but was actually doing something that benefited them, rather than being corrupt and not doing anything for them. And again, very much like Berlusconi, he almost confessed his sins too, and also was very effective at painting his enemies. That's one of the tricks that we see of these populist leaders, that they're very quick to brand their opponents. So us and other NGOs or academics that were opposed to Thaksin were labeled as part of the elitist establishment, people who were reluctant to let go of the kind of power that they had because he was doing something new, something fresh for the overall population. And this idea that he says things as it is, outspoken, has no time for political correctness. All this will sound very familiar to Americans today. Donald Trump was especially good at branding his opponents, low energy, lying, little Marco. Very effective. Crooked Hillary, very effective. So that's the kind of style of government.